All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Freshman Friday. I am your host, Blake Sorrell, and today we have a special guest on, Miss Callie Miller. Callie, how are we doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing really good. Appreciate you coming on with me and Parker, taking a few minutes of your time. My first question for you is how you've been settling in at school.
It was kind of weird at first being away from home and just like completely different room and having to go like sharing a room with a bunch of girls and stuff. But I think overall it's not been too bad. Like I love it here now. I never go home.
Right. No, I mean, that was a problem I had as well at first. When I first started living with new people, I was like, I love hanging out with my friends and had trouble going home, but always important to go home. Trust me, coming from a senior. My next question for you is, how did you start playing volleyball and when did you decide that you were good enough to make it to college?
I first started like 7th grade. I used to play basketball, but I wasn't really good at it. So my parents were like, let's try something different. So we tried volleyball and I just really liked it. I wasn't really good when I started. And then I started getting to play like travel ball and like playing competitively when I was 14. And that's kind of just from then on when I was around like 15, like high school, I thought, like I do want to play in college. And then around like 17 is when we did start like looking at schools and colleges. And that's how I knew. I was like, yeah, I want to do that.
Right. That's awesome. So, I mean, it's good that you knew what you wanted to do and, you decided to go from basketball to volleyball. It's a good transition for you, obviously. And you're here where you are now, which is good for you. So you made the right decision, obviously. So my next question for you is going to be, where'd you go to high school and where are you from?
So I'm from Ackworth, Georgia, and I went to Alatoona High School.
Okay. So, going from Alatoona to Georgia College was a big adjustment, of course. We've touched on it a little bit already. Did you have a moment at Alatoona specifically that kind of was like you decided you were like, this was for me?
Like coming here?
Correct. Yeah. Like what made you choose Georgia College after going to Alatoona?
Well, all my friends from school were also like looking to play like sports in college, like volleyball and whatever. And the way they talk about their school was like they loved it. They're like, this is where I belong. And I talked to them about it. And I came here and I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel the exact same way. Like I get what they mean now about like, that's like what I want. That's exactly like what I was expecting from a college. And because at first I really didn't understand what they meant. I was like, I don't get it. It's just a school. But then I came here. I was like, okay, it does make sense now. Like I do belong at Georgia College.
Most definitely. And I mean, we talked about you adjusting and coming in, from that kind of environment. It's always comforting knowing, we're in a little smaller town for sure, but that's kind of nice knowing people, everywhere you go. I feel like everywhere I go, at least, I know someone, no matter where I am, whether it's class or going out, whatever it is. But my last question for you that I can think of is, going into this season, what are your goals?
My goals would probably just to like, let me think. I'd say probably just be able to like keep up with however like the tempo of the game is, because it is kind of a bigger adjustment, and just overall just not freak out about like not thinking about it too much, that like, oh my gosh, you're playing college sports, like that's so scary, and just trying to like handle it and just have a good time in like a good freshman year.
Right. No, that's a very, very good mindset that you have. And honestly, going into college is obviously very scary. Going in as an athlete, I could only imagine how scary that is. And, it sounds like you got the right mindset, which is very good. And, I wish you the best of luck. We appreciate you coming on, most definitely. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Freshman Friday. It was a great time talking sports with Callie. Callie, we appreciate you for coming on, and we'll see you next episode for Freshman Friday.